Welcome to the third lesson on PHP, HTML5, and integrated with CSS3. Here I am on my server again, and this should be familiar. Hopefully you watched the first two lessons. What I want to do now is I want to make a form and have it so that the client on his or her computer can put something on the form, and then that information goes from the form up to the server, and the server grabs it in a PHP file and then displays it back, puts it in a variable. And how do you do that? Well, first thing I want to do is I want to create a new file, and I'm going to create an HTML file, and I'm going to call it index, I-N-D-E-X .html, like that, and create a new file. And now what I want to do is I want to edit that new file. It says you must select a file. Okay, there it is, index. I'm going to go ahead and edit it. And I take the default, yes. And so what I want is I want a form. And the way I do that is I type in, this is all HTML, F-O-R-M, and action. And I'll explain what that means. Action is going to be inside quotes, and I'm going to call it getIt.php. This is the name of the PHP file that I'm going to have up on my server. I haven't put it up there yet, but when the person submits the form, this information is going to go back to the server from their laptop or whatever they're using, and it's going to look for a file called getIt.php. And the method it's going to use, M-E-T-H-O-D, is going to be post, and I'll explain in future videos the different kinds of methods that we can use. All right, so that's the form, and now what I want is I want the person to put a name in there, and I'm going to use a input type equals text. I'm going to use the text field, okay, for them to put that in. And I have to identify the text field by giving it a name. Now this is important. Well, I'll show you. We have to remember what we did, what we called it. I'm going to call it my name. You can use any string that you want, just don't use spaces in it. And then I'm going to close this off properly. So this will now be a text area for them to enter information into. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to now put another input, and the type is going to be equal to submit. This will form the submit button. Okay, and I'm going to close this off properly. And then I'm going to close off the form. All right. So here I have and I'm using just a plain simple text editor, nothing fancy, no rocket science, nothing proprietary. That's what's important. And I'm going to save the changes, and I'm going to close this, and then there it is, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to look at it right here, and there it is. There's my formula. This is through the browser. This is what the user would see. So there's the text field that I made, and there's my submit button. So let's say they put their name in here, and they put their name was the dude, okay, because I had that already down here. Could be anything. How about this name, my man? And I'm going to click the submit button. Now notice what happens. What I want you to do now is watch the URL when I click the submit button. What's it looking for? It's looking for getIt.php now, isn't it? Well, I didn't put it up there yet, so it says it's not found. All right, well, let's go back here and let's create that particular PHP file. So I want to come here and create a new file, and I want to call it what? Getit, right? Getit.php. And I'm going to create the new file. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to now put something in that new file. So I'm going to edit it. And again, it's just a simple text editor that I have here. And remember that I start all my PHP code with that, the less than sign and the question mark. What I do now is I have to get that information that was sent. And the way I do that, I want to put that information in a variable. Okay, capture it in a variable. And don't forget I start variables with the the $sign. I'll call it the name. And here's how I capture the information. This is a reserved function in PHP. And I started with a $sign, and I put an underscore, and I put POST, and then I use this at the left bracket, and then I have to put what I named the input text, and I called it my name. Okay. And then I put quotes, and I end it with that. I end it with a semicolon. Okay, now I have the name, and that's all I need. I've captured it in that variable called the name. So what I want to do is I want to verify that I got it. So I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to put in HTML code, and I put H1, and I'm going to put you sent me, and this is what I sent them. Okay, remember this from the last video, and that's going to display the value of the variable, the name. Okay, and then I'm going to put this here and this here, and now let's see what happens. So here I have, this is the key coding right here, and I have to remember that's what I call that. So let me save the changes. Let me close it, and there it is. It's there now. I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to refresh this just so I can put something else in, and I'll just put in my last name right here, and I'll submit it now, and now it says you sent me Adamson. And if I look at the source code, view the page source, that's what I see. You sent me Adamson. So what is it that happened here? Well, here's what happened. Let me bring this over here. This is the HTML document that I created. Is this right here? This is the PHP document that I created. The name of this PHP document was getit.php. The name of the input text field was called my name. That had to match this right here. These had to match. That's how it knew. That's how the post knew what to get, what input type text to get the information from. Because I could have more than one text field. I could have first name, last name, email address, and all other kinds of stuff. This right here, method post, was the method that it knew it was going to use. I now have from the client, I now have in this variable whatever the user entered. And all I did was redisplayed the variable. And you might say, well, that's pretty cool. Well, I hope you think it is. I think it's pretty cool. In future videos, we'll be looking at how we now take this and put it into a database for permanent storage, or put it into an XML file, or transmit it to another client so that they can have like a chat area. All right, so anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.